Black lives don't matter. So bright it might as well have been a neon sign. Black lives don't matter. Etched indelibly into every young white mind, from the day that we're born until the time that we die, inherited genetically like the color of our eyes. So is it really any surprise that hardly any of us cries when another one of those people dies? Now, before you dismiss this, just allow me to explain. I'm not here to make excuses. I'm not here to lay blame or shame, but it's a problem with our thinking and it must be addressed. And I don't quite know how to start, but I have to get this off my chest. Because the same old story comes across my newsfeed again, and I watch my comments section fill up with indignant white men insisting on bitching and twisting the narrative to match up with some authoritarian imperative like, well, if he didn't want to get shot, he shouldn't have been. Resisting. And I'm like, really? For real? Is this how you people honestly feel? That a human being should lose his life for refusing to kneel? And now the crimes that are punishable by death include selling cigarettes, DVDs, or cassettes, saying, please don't touch me, or am I under arrest? Standing in a stairwell, or wearing a jacket with a hood, or reaching for your driver's license, or being perceived as rude, or playing with a toy gun in an open carry state, or in the toy section at Walmart, or inside your own front gate, for complying and trying to do exactly what you're told, for lying down with your hands on your head in the middle of the goddamn road. And I know, we don't have all the facts and split-second decisions that determine how an officer reacts. And I know that there are justifications left and right. But let me ask you one question, and please answer honestly. How would you have reacted if all those people were white? Like, what if Eric Garner or Michael Brown had had blue eyes and come from our side of town? Or what if Phil Castle had been reaching for his wallet when the cops fired 4 shots into the same car with a white toddler? Or little Timmy Rice gunned down in his suburban front yard barely 2 seconds after the officer opened his door to the patrol car. It changes things a little bit, doesn't it? Now, my fellow white people, I hope you'll understand what I'm doing, because we have been conditioned to see non-white people as slightly less than human. Like, from the time I can first remember watching TV, and 9 out of 10 of the characters looked exactly like me. Now, flash forward, 2016, we got Luke Cage, and those same indignant white folks go into a rage. Or when I had my first black teacher, Mrs. H, 3rd grade, and the adults didn't think that I heard the comments that they made. Oh, this just isn't proper. These people don't talk right. Couldn't they have found a qualified teacher who was white? And how could those attitudes not have affected me, not have colored the way that I viewed racial identity? Now, I was never taught violence, oppression, or hate, but I was also never taught that our differences could be something great. Like in social studies class, when we learned about African tribes, in exactly the same way we learned about animals in the wild. And fellas, remember having to steal your dad's Playboys to see some white titties? And meanwhile, National Geographic was displaying black chests for the whole world to see. Now, the lesson that taught us might not be clear on the surface. White bodies are sacred, black bodies are worthless. And no one ever had to tell us that explicitly, because what never got said made its way into our head, pumping racism through our brains like electricity. Now, I know this all sucks, but it's time we just faced it. How could any of us white kids not have grown up racist? But the story doesn't end there, and I hope you're still listening, because where we start out doesn't have to be our destiny. In this moment now, we can still take responsibility, change history. We can put up our hand and say, yeah, this applies to me. Because we have been so inundated with fear to even talk about race. Because we have been so inundated with fear to even talk about color. So afraid to be called racist that we shame one another. But look, this is me saying, I'm no better than anyone else. Because if we want to see real change, we have to start with ourselves. Now, I'm not talking about being another white savior, and I'm not even talking about punishing racist behavior. I'm talking about the question that might be haunting you the way it's haunted me. What can I do? Now, it might not be fair, and it might not be our choice, but in recent years, it has become increasingly clear that the government's ear is deaf to the black voice. So it's on us, my white brothers and sisters. Damn it. Now, I know it's not fair and it might not be our choice, but in recent years, it has become increasingly clear that the government's ear is deaf to the black voice. So it's on us to speak up, my white brothers and sisters. And how do we start? By being better listeners. That's right, just listen. Listen when people of color share their vision. Listen without our presuppositions, without our positions and opinions, willfully suspend our own conditioned belief systems and just listen. Listen to people's histories. Listen to their tears. Listen to their stories, their hopes, their dreams, their fears. Because the time has come for reconciliation. And yes, I'm sorry, but if you are Caucasian, then you need to ask for forgiveness and patience. Because yeah, you never owned a slave, and I wasn't part of segregation. But our apathy has been a form of participation. Now, I know that to many, what I'm saying is treason, but damn it, you were born into white privilege for a reason. You were given a voice, so you might as well use it, because if you don't speak up now, someday soon, you will lose it. You see, I know that we're all very pragmatic and scientific, and that if we can't see something, we don't want to believe in it. And I know that there are many whose eyes remain blind to the intimate interconnectedness of all humankind. But even those who don't have eyes to see that we are all part of one human family can at least understand and maybe someday agree that what happens to you eventually comes back to me. So after they've hunted down and killed the very last African, you think they'll stop there? Hell no, we got Mexicans, we got Indians, Arabs, all people with brown skin. We got Hispanics, Latinos, Polynesians, Filipinos. We got Native Americans, Aboriginals, First Nations. We got Chinese, Koreans, and all kinds of Asians. And when they've gone down the whole list, they've gone down the line and the whole list is through, and when they've gone down the line and the whole list is through, how long you think it'll be before they come after you? You see, right now, humanity is at a pivotal point, and each and every one of us is faced with a choice. So if we don't act now to end the hatred and the violence, someday soon we'll all pay for our apathy and our silence. So I know it's hard, and vulnerability takes courage. But confront yourself and listen, and I promise you it's worth it. And the next time you don't understand a black person's rage, or the next time black bodies are desecrated across your Facebook page, if you want to take action but you don't know what to do, start by saying these words: Black lives matter. And ask yourself, is it true?